So everybody, it is officially iPad season. Apple has sent out invitations for their iPad event for May 7th at 10 a.m. And in this video, what we're going to do is decipher all the little Easter eggs that we have in that Apple invite, and then quickly go over all the things we expect in this Apple event in regards to the iPad, because we have spoken about it already, but I did want to kind of reiterate exactly what to expect. But without further ado, let's get right into this, and I'm extremely excited. Let's go. So the Apple invites for this event should be rolling out now, so definitely check your email, but it is already up on the website if you guys do want to check it out. But the very first thing that I noticed out of the email invite itself was the actual date and time of this event. So yes, it's happening on May 7th, but the more important part is the timing. Most Apple events happen at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern time, but this one seems to be going a little bit earlier at 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Pacific time. Now the last time Apple had an event at this time was when they released the 2018 iPad Pro, which was that major redesign that now we see in the actual iPad design language across the entire iPad lineup. So it's safe to assume, I believe, that the 10 a.m. timing of the May 7th event is going to correspond with that Apple redesign of 2018, meaning that as we expect, this is going to be the first major redesign of the iPad Pro in about 6 years. So definitely excited for that because of all the leaks and rumors we've seen of smaller bezels, smaller form factors, getting a full 13 inches on the iPad Pro, and then the 11-inch iPad Pro maybe being 11.1 inches. So we will and should see some sort of redesign aesthetically and visually and physically of the iPad Pro lineup. And then the next thing that does jump out at you with the invite is obviously the hand with the Apple Pencil. So there is going to be some sort of focus on a new Apple Pencil, probably an Apple Pencil 3. And we have discussed on what that means in terms of what to expect with a new version of the Apple Pencil. The first rumor that we got with that Apple Pencil 3 was that it's going to have Find My built into it, which again, I've actually lost 2 Apple Pencil 2s already and I've had to repurchase them. Obviously there's alternatives out there that are a little bit cheaper, but adding Find My support with maybe a little bit speaker in there to let you know where it is and alert you is going to be very beneficial for a lot of people that do lose their Apple Pencil a lot of the time. And then also there is a new squeeze functionality that Jeff Benjamin was able to discover in the back end that we should be getting a new shortcut. So as of right now with the Apple Pencil 2, it doesn't have too much of a shortcut capability. The only thing that it has from a gesture standpoint is the ability to double tap to, again, change your pencil tool or go from tool to eraser, or actually just leave it totally blank. But Apple including a new squeeze gesture with different timings, so you can squeeze quickly, you can squeeze for a long squeeze, maybe kind of like a long hold and things like that, to add an additional layer of customization to the shortcuts of the Apple Pencil. Now, will that justify a $149 price point for a new Apple Pencil? That remains yet to be seen, but definitely stay tuned to subscribe because we will be getting any new products that are happening in regards to the iPad Pro alongside an Apple Pencil and maybe even the Magic Keyboard if that does release on May 7th. The next thing that we notice with that invite itself is the colors on the Apple logo that were used, which could indicate the different colors that we will be getting with the iPad Air lineup. Now, normally with the iPad Pro lineup, it kind of remains with just 2 different colors, a darker space gray and then a lighter silver color, but the iPad Air is reserved for those more colorful colors, which normally, again, they are very light in terms of the actual colors that they use. It's very pastel-y, but it could indicate that we will be getting like a blue and a purple and a yellow and a pink in terms of color variations for the iPad Air, because that tends to be what Apple ends up doing with the iPad Air lineup. And then another aspect of the invite is the actual text. So you can see in handwritten, maybe Apple Pencil handwriting, it says let loose with a period at the end, indicating that, again, it's going to be very focused on handwriting and the Apple Pencil, but it could mean also that we're kind of breaking free from the iPadOS kind of situation, or maybe iPadOS is going to be a little bit more loose and a little bit more freeing. So maybe Apple does give us some additional features on iPadOS during this release, or maybe indicate something with iPadOS 18, which kind of brings iPadOS more into the macOS territory that a lot of people want. And the final thing that we saw in terms of the invite is actually on the website itself. So if you go to the Apple website, go to the homepage, and then you can actually refresh the homepage. Every time you refresh the homepage, the Apple logo does change completely. And that, for me, indicates we might get some different pen tools for the Apple Pencil, because you can see that there are different kinds of brushes, different kinds of textures. You have some watercolor and calligraphy and different colors and things like that. So I believe Apple might be adding a couple more pen tools, which I'm all for, on the Apple Pencil itself. So that is what I see from the invite and the actual invite on the website. Now let's quickly discuss what we expect from the iPads, which we have mentioned before. So for the iPad Air lineup, we should be getting a new revamped iPad Air in terms of getting new internals, getting up to spec to 2024. Apple should be including M2 chips in this iPad Air, but there's going to be 2 big differences of the iPad Air. Firstly, Apple's going to be adding a second iPad Air to the lineup of 12.9 inches, increasing that size to give us, again, a bigger iPad at a smaller price point, so you no longer have to spend $1,200 on a 12.9-inch iPad Pro to get that type of screen size. You might be able to spend maybe $800 on a 12.9-inch iPad Air. And secondly, there have been rumors that the new iPad Air will also take older screen tech from the current iPad Pro lineup. So perhaps we will get mini LED displays on the iPad Air. Again, Apple's not going to give us promotion, I don't believe, because there has to be some sort of differentiation between the iPad Air and the iPad Pro lineup. But again, mini LED in terms of the technology is going to be amazing for picture quality for the iPad Air, especially depending on what price point they put it at. So I believe the 10.9-inch iPad Air will remain at that $600, and maybe the 12.9-inch iPad Air will be maybe $750 or $800 for the iPad Air in terms of the bigger size. And then if we gravitate over to the iPad Pros, this is where we're going to see a major redesign, or at least quote-unquote major redesign, because I think the footprint and the design language will stay relatively the same. Things will just be a little bit different physically, similar to the transition that we saw from the 14 Pro Max of the iPhone side to the 15 Pro Max, where everything was a little bit more rounded off, different material choices, but ultimately it's going to be the same iPhone. But on the iPad Pro side, we should be getting M3 iPad Pros. We will be getting OLED displays, and OLED displays on both the 12.9-inch as well as the 11-inch iPad Pro. It should also go from 12.9-inch to maybe a true 13 or 13.1 inches because Apple's going to slim down the bezels because of that new OLED technology. The iPad should also be a little bit slimmer and lighter because of the OLED screen. So overall, it's going to be a nice redesign for the iPad Pro that we've been waiting for almost 2 years now at this point. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the Apple Pencil 3 will be at the forefront of this new transition. And then also, we should be getting some sort of new Magic Keyboard. So the new Magic Keyboard will be for the iPad Pro lineup only, but then the older Magic Keyboard should still work with the iPad Air, both the 10.9-inch and the 12.9-inch iPad Airs. So that is everything that we expect. Again, I wanted to give you guys a high level. If you want a more nuanced look on what to expect with the iPad lineup being released on May 7th, I will link our latest video down below for you guys to check that out. But I'm extremely excited to get an iPad Pro. I'm going to get a fully loaded one, new Magic Keyboard, new Apple Pencil, and I'm just excited to see exactly what Apple's going to bring to the iPad lineup because it has been a long time coming. But let me know in the comment down below. Are you going to pick up an iPad Pro? Are you waiting for these new iPad Pros to release so maybe the older iPad Pros get cheaper? Because those are still great and viable options. Like the 2018 iPad Pro to this day is still an absolute beast. Now, will I edit 4K footage and use it as my main machine? Maybe not, but my wife still uses the 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro on a day-to-day basis, and it runs extremely smooth. So there are going to be some options in terms of price points and how to get a cheaper iPad Pro versus a new one and things like that. So definitely stay tuned on the channel because we will be doing pricing guides and buying guides and things of that nature. So definitely let me know in the comment down below what you guys think is going to happen with the iPad Pro lineup and if you expect to pick one up. But that's going to do it for this video. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, click on one of these right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace. Really, really excited. Leave a comment down below of how excited you are.